Hello, everybody. You know what time it is. I know what time it is. That's right. It's time for Syntext Live. I hope you guys are doing all sorts of all good. And I see a whole bunch of people already in. Looks like our normal crowd. We got Sniper, Demon, and Erica on there. And let's get this party started.
Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
All right, I'll save kicking up the football here until later as far as videos. You guys haven't been sending me any videos. I got a couple images, but no video so far from you guys. Anyways, I hope everybody is doing all right. It is hot as all freaking hell out here. It's hot, damn hot. My shorts, I cook things in them. A little crotch pot cooking. It's just crazy. We don't dare actually have a fire. We'd be worried that things are going to catch on fire. It's supposed to be a thunderstorm coming through here tonight, and tomorrow's supposed to be wetter than hell. So, yeah, we get hot and wet. Play with that as what you will. And
what? What the fuck?
Adam's not saying what the fuck. I looked over, and sure enough, there it was. And we got our first super chat of the night. We got a $20 from Brian Kemp. And he says, I'll have to jump ship early. I have a 0630 hog ride leader meeting. Oh, great stories. Well, you're very welcome. And if you have any ideas or comments, concerns, complaints, feel free to send them my way. I will gladly read them all and look over each one. And let me put you down here. And I don't really have all that many notes tonight, guys, because as you know, like I said, July's busy for me. It's just the way everything is. I can't promise anything super crazy in August either, which is why I've been sticking a lot more with the shorts than I have with the series, just because they're a little easier to create if I can create and actually have time. With the series, it does take a lot more research and things of that nature. Anyway, thank you again, Brian. Let me scroll, just make sure I didn't miss anybody. Nope, didn't miss anybody. All right. Okay. Oh, shit.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Something actually is right, because we got another $10 super chat from Erica Gem. She is so truly, truly outrageous that she is here every single week. And she says, thank you for all the stories. You are quite welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for even being on the live stream. I appreciate you guys. It pluses the numbers up, and I've been having some serious problems keeping enough subscribers going because, you know, YouTube likes to play all those games. Lucky freaking me. And, of course, with all the rest of the supporters. But, or I should say, but at least we can get it done. And I am going to be, oh, shit. I'm running out of buttons to actually throw on here. We got another 10 from SS Demon, but his is a super sticker. And let me get you on there. Thank you very much, Demon. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Just jumping into my notes here really quick. Again, not a lot came over this past week. So I'm going to jump right in with, let me put it on screen. Humans are boring until they're not. And apparently people like that I finally went full on crazy human pissed offness on that one. And yes, there's been a lot of folks who've said that I've been too nice with the Xenos whenever they cross the line. So I figured it was finally time for a good old fashioned fuck around, and you're going to find out. And so is everybody else, and everyone else is going to be scared out of their mind. And what do I got here? I'll just use that one for the Guardian Sage, because he sent another $10 super chat. Let me write you down there, Guardian. And Sage. Sorry, guys, I'm writing as fast as I can. It says, sorry, I haven't gotten around to watching this week's videos. I'm almost certain they are good. I sure hope so. You rarely have a bad one. They do happen. And even the bad ones are actually mediocre instead of bad. Hey, that's actually pretty decent. I like the way you put that, Guardian. I very much appreciate it. And what do we got here? No, that one wouldn't work for guard. How about this one?
Gotcha, bitch.
We got you MTF guard here with another 10. And he says, weekly paycheck. Also, I'm still laughing at a little shout picture you used where it showed the business guy from Fallout 4 saying, I'm going to have to stop you right there. I'm trying to remember where I use that. Let me just finish writing you down, guard, so I don't forget to actually send out your shout outs for the week. And I very much appreciate you guys. You have no idea how much. And this is going to be going into the fund because, unfortunately, I'm going to have to help my nephew out a little bit. He's been having some, well, let's just say with all his crap that's been going on, it's like life is trying to force him to bury himself, and he didn't learn how to well, when you're in a hole, stop digging. Anyway, and I'm actually out of soda, guys, so I'm sticking with water. And no, there's no beer in the house. We're out of that too. And yes, I know, no beer, what the hell? So anyway, yeah, as far as Humans Are Boring, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. That was originally supposed to be a 3-part series, not a 5. Then again, it is what it is. Sometimes I come across a factor I totally missed, and it just keeps going. So there's that. The next one that came up was, what do you want, human? And yeah, I hope you guys like the whole idea of, oh, we can just buy this guy off with a couple of honey traps. Yeah, that doesn't work when you got humans that are there that they're used to playing the long game. That's just no. You know, you lose something important, that's all you want back. You couldn't care about anything else. You just want that one thing back, and to hell with everything else. And yeah, just in case people haven't listened to it yet, I don't want to go too deep into it. And one of the comments, though, kind of stuck out. It said, yeah, of course we'd be good at doing that. We've been playing war since we were 5 years old. No, we've been playing war since we could sit up. The first thing we do is crawl for cover. You know, get behind cover so we can dodge the rounds. And then as soon as we can walk, we do our 3 to 5 second rush. We're up on our feet for 2 seconds, take a couple steps, and down we go. You know, we're practically designed for it. If you're totally lost on that one, when you're moving, actually doing tactical movements when the bullets are flying, there's something called a 3 to 5 second rush, because it takes 3 to 5 seconds for someone to acquire the target, adjust their weapon, and then actually aim at them and squeeze the trigger. That's how long it takes. If you're up in the air longer than 5 seconds, guess what? You probably now have a new hole. And I don't think you want that. And for some reason, I think something just froze on me. Let me know if you guys are still good. Because I'm getting a couple notifications here. We got a whole bunch of weird weather here. So for some reason, like I've said before, if the power goes out or the stream drops, that's it. We're done for the night. I'm not playing that game again. And as I look through the comments here, all I can say is, how many are here? Well, right now we only got about 10. But you know what? You guys are my kind of assholes. I like you. Every single one of you. Oh, excuse me. Kind of got something stuck in my throat. Need another drink here. It's just hot. All right. One of the reasons why I'm probably not going to be sticking on too long is because one of our fellow fans, he likes to say this. He likes to talk about how you don't step in the Bolshevik. Oh, wait. Now I got a drink. Maybe I should put some vodka in that. Actually, Terrence Pop, somebody who does some pretty serious stuff, he's going to be on Timcast tonight at 8 o'clock. So I'm hoping we're done by then. But if we're not, then we're not. It's just that simple. If nothing else, I'll just watch it tomorrow. Just fair warning, if you go and watch him, he's going to be dealing some really, really deep shit. And I know most of us come here for escapism, so to each their own. All right, I also got to talk about the other channel I'm working on, the actual Crazy Uncle channel. I have a video lined up. I'm still editing it for those of you who actually do enjoy that channel. It's being worked on. Again, its time is a factor that keeps kicking me right in the nuts. I don't know if it's the life kicking me in the nuts or the fact that I got blue balls, but they hurt. So it is what it is. Okay, I wrote a note here, and I don't know. I don't even know what my notes mean. Okay, I'll move on to the next one. Okay, a little something for you guys tonight. In particular, tonight, I got something special lined up. All right. That I'm not going to ruin anything. Just know I got something special. I freaking jumped through my ass the last couple days to make sure you guys got something special tonight. So I hope you guys enjoy it. You guys are going to have to let me know in the comments whether or not it is, but we'll see how it goes. Let's see. We're good. Okay. And I do have to say this. Why do people make such a big deal about a denim commercial? Seriously, that joke that they're using is older than I am. How do you call, or how do you tell the difference between a boy molecule and a girl molecule? You pull down their jeans. It's a fucking kid's joke. And people are getting, that's why we come here. We want to get away from this shit. Okay, people take life way, 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 way too serious. And most people don't know what to take serious, or what they should be taking seriously. But I say, fuck it. Let's just enjoy ourselves. Let's have a good night. Let's hopefully have a couple laughs. And I'm going to be moving on to the next part of my notes here. To let you guys know, Paramount just merged with another company. And a requirement of that merger is Paramount must end all their DEI. So watch, it's going to take about a year or two, and they're finally going to start pushing away from it, and we'll finally get something worth watching. I mean, holy flying donkey nuts. We had this is what they're doing. Hopefully, they actually get something done right. Task failed successfully. That's what I'd like them to do. And hold on a sec. But I don't want to hold my breath for these folks, because unfortunately, California is being run by a bunch of degenerate freaks who might as well just give themselves a little extra nose hair that hangs down to their upper lip and start waving in a salute. I mean, that's how bad they are. It's absolutely crazy. But we don't want to talk too much about politics here. Just remember, we might actually get some good stuff back, which is something to look forward to. That's all I wanted to get at. All right. The Fantastic Four. You guys have heard about this. I need to clear this up. Originally, when I first started hearing everything, I heard it was actually really good. The few reshoots they did made everything work, and it just lined up just right, and it was actually a decent movie. Well, that was the critics. The audience is sitting there going, I paid money for this. It's seriously, it's, you walk in, and I'm sorry, but Johnny Storm was supposed to be a player, not some ambiguous, I don't know, guy who gets stuffed in his locker. I mean, it's so bad that, I mean, nowadays, now you just look at a freaking, just the preview, and you realize
it was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
Royally fucked up. Hopefully you guys can hear those. All right. But yeah, the audience is turning out and just like sitting there like, what? And the best most critics online can say, actual real critics are like, it wasn't bad. If they're saying the best you guys, it wasn't bad, then it sucked. Kind of like Superman. Oh my God. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but they totally tore up his character, or tore up the character of his father, who was supposed to be a scientist who sent his only son the only way he could, basically shot him in an escape pod and launched him at the closest habitable planet that just happened to be us, as he knew he was going to die. But no, now it's got to be, oh, Jor-El was actually some dictator who just wanted to send his son over there to literally be Omni-Man, with the only difference is Omni-Man wasn't supposed to have kids, but Jor-El wants to send Superman over there to start banging the shit out of every woman. I've seen this comic before, guys, where all the men in the world die, and the only reason Superman doesn't is because of his Kryptonian genes. And they're thinking, okay, he's got to, give a little schnook, a little hubble, the snoo. He had to snoo the entire population, which I'm sure he could do at super speed. But his own morality wouldn't let him do that. That being said, if his morality was based off of not only the parents that raised him, but his father and mother who sent those recordings, then Superman wouldn't have any problem saying, you know what? It's the duty of every man to dive into a hole head first. I'm like, that's what he'd be thinking. And I'm just like, no, come on, guys. You're killing us. You're killing us here. What is wrong with you? But this is like what they did with Halo. They hired people who hate the IP and said, here, write this, direct it, and do all this other shit. I'm like, absolutely fucking not. All right, here's one that's making the rounds, guys. And I'm sure if you have been listening to the folks who like jump around the dark web and stuff like that and find all sorts of weird stuff, like the one guy says, guess what I found on the CIA records today? Or the one who ends everything with the Napoleon quote, history is just a bunch of lies agrees upon. If you're listening to those guys, you'll always hear this major debate of all the crap we're seeing outside, which, by the way, if I'd remember to download it, I got a picture of a deer I just saw out here about an hour ago. But everyone's like, oh, look at the stuff flying in the sky. This stuff, we don't know what it is. One person say it's aliens. The other person says it's demons. Then it goes back. No, it's aliens. No, it's demons. It has to be this. It has to be that. How now? Why not both? This is my question. Why not both? Why can't the thing intermixed and it be much more complicated than what you're thinking? Do I want it to be complicated? No. But holy, geez, I mean, seriously, if I found a demoness in my bed, then,
giggity, giggity goo. Stick around.
Go midnight Q on it. I mean, let's face it. You wake up and you got some demon of the opposite sex in your bed. I don't care who you are. You're sitting there going, swing. And by the way, I fixed this thing. I found out what I got to do with the soundboard. As soon as I boot everything up, before I get started, I literally have to hit every single button and just let them play. It's kind of weird how that works. Regardless, it's something to think about. Is it aliens? Is it demons? Could it be a mixture? I've been doing that in a couple of those stories. I don't want to go on too much rant on that because I'm gonna be going through each of these in a minute, and you guys can throw in your 2 cents. All right, the new Chinese robots. Have you guys seen this shit? I mean, seriously. Hold on. Let me put this back up here. Yes, task failed successfully. Did they make robots? Yes. Did they make robots that walk? Yes. Are they anywhere near moving like humans? Absolutely fucking not. They are so janky, you would think they're those animatronics from Chuck E. Cheese as they're moving around, constantly flipping and moving. I'm just like, what the hell, man? What the hell? If I had a video to throw up, the problem is most of the videos I see are not something I can copy and paste and get them on here because they're behind like 6 or 7 different firewalls, and I don't have the $50 every time for a 10-second clip. Regardless, they're trying to say that these robots are going to take over. Yeah, they kind of will, because as I said before, science fiction is only science fiction for so long. And once that science fiction becomes science fact in a general populated way, we just have to adjust. And it all comes down to the manufacturing as well as how fast the population adapts to it. Most people still don't like electric vehicles. I could see why. It doesn't suit them. Think how everything changed when gasoline powered cars started taking over for horses and things like that. Yeah. Was it kind of a jolt? Sure. Did we adjust? Yeah. It's just the way it is. That's just human nature. We are adaptable. We're bendy. Me, I'm just pudgy though. All right. All right. On the next subject here, I do have to say this was very interesting. They had one of these folks, I believe he was on the Sean Ryan show, and he was talking about we are at the point now that you age out literally. And you get the choice of whether they clone or you get a cloned new body and transferred into that, or you can be transferred into a device. The difference being is if you're in your new clone body, you're stuck in what you're in right now. Most likely your retirement is over, dunzo, kaputs, and you got to go get another job and you got to do all this, but you're here in the moment on this earth. That's all you're going to get. If you go into the device, then chances are you're going to be able to live out these strange fantasy things. I think they did a show on it where the guy's what he thought was a temperature dial, and it was actually changing what the outside was, like a winter so he could go skiing, or a summer where he can go out on a lake or something. Yeah, that would be interesting too. Given the choice, I don't know which one I'd take, honestly. Me personally, I just want to fix the meat suit I'm in. And you guys know I've done a lot of videos on that. So, but that's something I'm sure we can chat about in the chat box here, because I'm almost down through these and we've only been going for about 20 minutes. I've been kind of rattling through pretty quick. All right, here's one though with the AI that kind of freaks everybody out. They got the Eater robot. I kid you not, EATR. This thing was originally designed to go and pick up bodies on the battlefield using the biomass to be used as fuel. All I'm thinking of is what's going to stop this thing from just walking up to somebody who's passed out, pulling their bodies inside, and you can be thrashing as much as you want. Once you're inside, you can't get out. That's horrifying. That this thing's just going to want to keep sucking up people and God knows what so we can keep powered. That's yikes. I could think of worse ways to go, but not many. And no joke, you can actually look this up. AI robot Eater, EATR. And yes, that's an acronym. All right. Last subject before we go into the comment section. I don't know if you guys seen this, but the new preview for the Star Trek Academy came out. I have never seen a bigger pile of sci-fi Bolshevik than what I'm looking at. I literally, my head started to hurt, and I just saw a couple screen grabs at first, and then somebody played the whole thing. And I'm like, wait, hold on, back up, beep, 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 back up towards me, because something's wrong. Something is just seriously wrong. What the hell is going on here? Well, come to find out, they still had their DEI shit going on. And the key giveaway that they care more about their diversity than anything else is, and now if you know Trek, you're going to know where I'm going. If need be, I'll spread this out. You know what, Joseph? It's a good thing you put in there, right there with the Jem'Hadar, because they have, I shit you not, a female Jem'Hadar. If you guys don't know what that is a genetically designed species specifically designed for combat. They are a slave species that is there to fight. They are exclusively male. They don't talk. They don't eat. They don't sleep. They're basically biologic computers that know how to stab somebody and know how to pilot a ship. I mean, I'm just like, what the hell? But not only that, but when they did the woman's makeup of a warrior species, they did it in a way to emphasize her actual race behind the makeup. And I'm thinking, wow, that's racist. And then I look at the uniform. Again, this is supposed to be a warrior race, a warrior species. How in the flying, flipping fuckle knuckles do you get a warrior class who's at least 50 pounds overweight? How the, what the, my brain hurts again. How the, what the, and of course, every time they show a guy on there, they're stupid or they're spineless or whatever. I'm just like, what the shit? Seriously. And then they want to sit there and spout literally having duty, honor, and stuff like that. Like literally chanting it in formation. Instead of being the explorers they claim to be, it clearly shows that these guys, congratulations, they are not explorers, they're soldiers. Well, sailors in this case. But they want you to think that this is just going to be the add-on more of the Star Trekky Trek. Unfortunately, Trekky Trek died with Star Trek STD, Star Trek Discovery. As soon as they had that and they friggin' screwed over Picard, which was probably the only sci-fi captain that didn't truly suck. I give it this. The guy's acting. The only time he did that drama performance when he was talking was when he was speaking with another captain. He did it as a way to emphasize he was trying to be professional as possible. Okay. Oh, yeah, the Klingon, too. Oh, my God. Just, wow. Again, supposed to be a warrior species. And I looked at this guy. He's about that big. Literally, he's a toothpick. And they smoothed everything out like it's jelly. And they just grabbed it like dough and squeezed it back. And I'm just like, what am I looking at? Again, a warrior species is not a toothpick. If they were, they would have changed their tune the moment they had to go hand-to-hand fighting with anybody. I know the Klingons are supposed to be warriors, but they constantly get killed all the time. I mean, and not, it's plot-driven. I mean, I didn't put it in here originally. I had the picture of Mando. It says plot armor, the only thing stronger than Beskar. But, just it pains me to see this franchise destroy itself even more because one simple reason. I used to fight the Trekkie Treks all the time for reasons beyond their control, usually. One, they kept trying to juice up the captains, and most of the captains freaking suck something fierce. Janeway was horrid. Kirk was horrid. The guy on the station, he was horrid. I mean, just every single one of them is like they're trying to show off in a drama class, or the plot just kind of gives them the answer. I'm just like, no. But the thing is, they had also stolen, what was it? Deep Space Anus or whatever the name of the station was. They stole Babylon 5. Everybody knows that. There was a lawsuit. They settled it, and they admitted it even. It was crazy, and I despised them ever since then. But I bring this up because if we are allowed the technology, like I keep talking about, like the molecular reassembler, you're going to have a lot of people basically having the mindset of Trek because, shocker, if you don't have to fight for resources, if you don't have to have a shit ton of money, you can just go up to your device, press a couple of buttons, and your Earl Grey hot comes out, and it's perfectly clean, perfectly safe. There's no carcinogens. There's no fake bullshit in there that's going to slowly kill you. Plus, you got your medical bay that you can just lay into, a little capsule where it's going to scan you and clean you out of all the microplastics and everything else. Then we'll be living in the Trek times. And there's going to be a major, major shift. And that honestly is what A lot of these people who believe they rule the world are scared to fucking death. They want the status quo. They will fight for the status quo. They have killed many people to maintain the status quo. And I say, bite me, you Bolshevik friggin' asshole. I'm trying to keep the language a little safer tonight, but you guys can understand. I'm a little, it irks me. It irks me that we have the ability to be more than we are and we're not. Maybe that's why they let us have the boogosphere or something. I don't know what the hell's going on. All right. That ends my notes down there. I'm going to scroll back about halfway up. And right underneath where Guard dropped his, and right here. Let's see. There's War Sniper and Chris. Or I should say, the Prozac with pancakes. Or do you put Prozac in your pancakes? It says, I got paid the first, and I'm waiting till outstanding paid bills post before I donate. Should have the money, but the electric bill and mortgage haven't been taken out yet. Dude, you've heard me say it before. Take care of yourself first. I will manage. What the? Okay, the storms rolled in a little early, guys. I can actually hear it through the soundproof earphones. See, Alan says, hello, checking in, but we'll have to run. Oh, at least you don't have the runs. You know, that would be terrible. Say, Guardian here says, I never really cared for beer myself. It's either wine or hard liquor for me. I like my hard liquor on the rocks, personally. I still have a bottle and a half of honey whiskey and 2 bottles of Jägermeister. Plus a few different bottles of wine from over 2 years ago. I still have homemade wine downstairs from, I think, 2016 or something like that. Unfortunately, I think they got warm and then they got cold and then they got warm again. So I'm pretty sure they've gone bad, but I'll have to check. But yeah, hey, to each their own on what you like to drink. Let's see. Demon says, I listen to the Timcast Earl every day, just not live because I'm at work. Yeah. So around 10:30 p.m., I start listening to it. Okay. Yeah. And see, Chris here says, I had no interest in American Eagle, but now I want to shop there just to annoy people. Let's see. Do I have a button that'll work for that? I don't know. Maybe I would just tell people,
relax. I'd rather not piss this thing off.
Whenever I'm, doing like this towards Chris, Anyways, see. Leon says, some pants don't have pockets. I don't understand that. Guys, I'm wearing cargo pants. I switched over from jeans to cargo pants because my fat ass doesn't fit in regular jeans anymore. I need to spend a lot more time in the gym, just outside working. I may be sweating, but I'm still mostly walking. I'm not actually moving as much as I should. So it is what it is. Let's see. Guardian says, yeah, no more DEI insanity. Give it time because they're still working on stuff. Maybe someone can write a song about how common sense has come back to life. I doubt it. Common sense, even back in the day before DEI, was so rare as a fucking superpower. Somewhere, I don't personally have it, but a buddy of mine, he had it actually blown up to, full size. And it's Deadpool sitting there. Oh, what's going on? My common sense is tingling. And he's right. Guard says, well, that whole UK censorship thing has gone so far backwards to the point that the UK got 586,000 signatures to get rid of it. Hold on. But the UK replied and pretty much said, we're not doing it. Okay. Demon says, Disney doesn't care what people want and will still push what they want. Yep. Which is, now I will say this, they did change over that. I forget the name of the movie. Apparently the kid ends up being abducted by aliens and he's only like a 10-year-old kid. So apparently he doesn't get probed. Originally, that kid was not just supposed to be biracial, but he was supposed to be a 9 or 10-year-old gay kid. And I'm like, dude, they haven't even dropped yet. You don't know what the fuck is going on here. But they got rid of that because there was so much backlash, and nobody went to see the movie after that anyway. They've already ostracized their audience at that point. It's literally you're below 100 feet on your jump. Just grab the slip and ride the wave in. You don't have a choice. Guard says, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but the idea of doxing yourself just to look at boobs is pretty stupid. And YouTube is now trying to implement a bot that will monitor what you watch. Yeah, actually, that's one of the things. I get flagged all the time if I start posting on other channels. Like I take my stories and put them on Rumble or something. I suddenly get a demonetization flag, which means everything that's going on, even though they're still showing everything, they're not going to pay me for. They love doing that shit. He continues with, and I'm quoting this from YouTube themselves. This will help us. We're suggesting more videos for the appropriate age groups. Have they been on? We have these. They're called cellular phones. We can. Have you seen some of the shit you find out? I mean, seriously, what they say on TED 2? You try to look up lamps, and all they get is giant black whatever. Anyways, Lena says, I've seen a Superman parody. Now you know, folks. Hide your women. Hide your daughters. Yeah. Hide your kids. Hide your wives. Hide your husbands. Because they're just doing that to everybody around here. Yeah, I remember that line. Demon says, people who hate the IP or the fan base of the project should not be allowed to make it. No, yes, I did. I don't have anything for the yes. Okay. But yeah, it's just crazy. If you don't like the IP, don't work for it. That'd be like somebody asking me to write something for Naruto. I thought Naruto was good to a certain point, or have me write for Dragon's Balls. It was good to a certain point, and then it got to the point I can't stand it anymore. They turn these people into fucking God, literally in some cases. And I'm just like, no. It's just crazy. Guard says, I mean, hey, Fantastic Four movie did go act as some justice compared to the last one he was in. Oh, yeah. Well, the last one Johnny Storm was actually in was a Deadpool movie. Although, why the hell he would try to blast the only person in that entire group that actually can control his flames made absolutely no sense. That was plot driven, whatever. And it was kind of, let me say this right. Ryan Reynolds said it right. When they killed him off, do you have any idea he was doing to the budget? Yeah, they had to kill him off quick. Which makes sense. I mean, after he played Captain America, they got to pay him a shit ton. And there's Joseph coming in. Oh, Brian's gone. See you, Brian. Guard says, bro is a genuine menace, especially how he did Mr. Fantastic. Oh, it's a genuine menace. I haven't seen how they did Mr. Fantastic this time. I refuse to watch it, honestly. If they can't stick to the original set characters, they can kiss the darkest part of my ass. Now, if they had, and this is one thing I haven't heard people say, if they had done this one thing in the very beginning, they could have saved the whole kit and caboodle. If they had just had Mr. Fantastic with one of his devices, and all of a sudden, just like they did at the TVA, he looks through and he sees the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And he's like, oh, this is another universe. I've been working on a machine that will actually take us there. I have it small enough to fit in our car. I'm not sure if we ever want to use it, but just in case, and if they did that, they could actually show that this is just an alternate universe and that the Fantastic Four is going to be heading to ours. If they had done that, they would have saved it, but no, of course not. Ugh. Let's see. Lena says, that's what I heard anyway. Aliens would stop kidnapping you if you beg for help from Jesus. I've heard that a lot too, actually. Then again, it might have been you thought it was aliens, but it's actually demons. Or if you thought it was demons, it actually is. You know, again, you really don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't mind finding myself a little succubus at the end of that bed over there. That'd be something. But, you know, I'm not exactly going to sit here and try to summon anything. That'd be crazy. Let's see. Joseph says battery life on an EV is so not ready. That's because of the law. The law is actually insisting that batteries are only supposed to be hold so much voltage, so much amperage, and everything else. Solar panels are only allowed to be, if I remember correctly, is 15% efficient. Any more than that, and they have to be destroyed, which I think is just total bullshit. They're limiting the ability for the batteries to do anything, to even send enough charge to make the engine basically go faster or be more efficient. All this stuff, they have basically got the entire EV industry. They're not just holding on by the balls, but they're reaching up and they're grabbing the crank and twisting it just enough and go, I dare you to move, pal. It's terrible. Because if they had actually went with the sodium-ion batteries instead of the lithium-ion batteries, you'd have probably 200% more out of each battery. And they last longer, they're cheap, and there's no environmental danger if one of them cracks. And they don't burn like a piece of magnesium if they catch fire either. You still don't want to be around them, though, because they might not burn for a long time. They will burn quite hot. Let's see. Lena says, I heard that AI can speak in a unique binary language. Yes, they can. That you can actually download that app on your phone. You can set up your set up the app with a, say you want to be at a hotel and you want to rent a car and stuff like that. You set it up, and if you set it like speakerphone to speakerphone, you know, is this a automated whatever? Yes, it is. Okay, and then here, basically, it sounds like the how do I put this? When you used to get on the internet, you know, and all that shit. And sure enough, it takes seconds, and they've done probably 30 minutes worth of work. Damn, I'm thirsty. All right. War Sniper says, all I want is to live longer than the basic human. I want to see us start to colonize other planets. I think that the Dutch will be happy. We're really good at colonizing. Oh, dude. That's dark and that's hilarious. Oh, man. Oh, man, that's hilarious. Oh, man. And one of the things that will actually stop us from colonizing other planets is the fact that certain people will be afraid of losing control over the entire human race, even though control is an illusion. It's not something we have. I am currently guiding this whole situation, but at any given time, a lightning could strike through that window and zap me. You know, I could lose power. Something could happen. I am guiding things in a certain direction, just like driving a car. I guide it down the road, but at any time, I could be hit by a deer. Another vehicle could come out. I could blow a tire. Anything could happen. You guide things. You don't control them. And because of that, they'd rather allow a colony to be there and then claim that there was some sort of asteroid strike when it was actually somebody dropping nukes on them. So, yeah. Let's see. Guardian says, horses are more reliable in the early days of horseless carriage. That's true. It's still the early days of the electric car. Also true. Give it a generation or two before it becomes as reliable or more reliable. If the restrictions are lifted, I agree with you. The restrictions got to actually be removed. It's just the way it is. And again, I'm not going to hit that over again because I've already pretty much hit the nail into the board. Okay, Joseph, there's the whole thing with the Jem'Hadar, and I'm like, it does not pass the sniff test, does it? Nope. That's bad stuff. Let's see. Lena says, Star Trek ships sometimes don't make any sense. They never do. They're more for aesthetics. The only thing that made any sense at all was the fact that the actual two engines, the reason they're spread up like that, they gave a good reason that said they're so strong, there's so much energy that the energy waves that come off of them are bouncing against each other. You don't want to be in between because there's so much different types of radiation in there that, well, you'd be dead. You would literally fry. That's why they're the most shielded, which makes sense because even on a nuclear submarine, that's the most protected area of the ship. You would think it'd be the torpedo bay, but it's not. But yeah, most of them don't make sense. The one that never made any sense to me was the Defiant. Oi. It literally took a shit over its own franchise. Every single one of the Federation ships needed the pylons to be out and away from the living quarters so you don't kill everybody. But no, this one, it's actually built up into the ship and your living quarters are right. It literally crosses the bridge. So everybody on the bridge going on one mission should come back basically irradiated to the point that their bits should be falling off. Their bits, their tits, and everything else. But of course not, because, plot armor. He's down here. Lena says, for example, the Defiant is designed to have a detachable cruise missile where they store all their explosives. Yeah, the front nose piece that keeps getting shot, the nose piece that they've shown is actually the mooring of the vessel because that's what sticks into the side of the space station. It's like either the writers didn't care or were given specs from someone else and they were just told to figure it out like they did with Transformers. It's just, you're right. The Defiant is a shit design. Not to mention, as soon as it turns, it's a giant pancake and a big-ass target. If it's coming straight at you, that's different. But as soon as it turns, whack. It is so done. And it's a small ship. It can't be that strong. Well, then again, it is that space stations. Maybe he's good with things being small. Who knows? Let's see. Guard says, Resident Evil 7 is so easy to play now, especially since I beat the game on its last difficulty, which gives me infinite ammunition. Well, there you go. No need to reload, right? Guardian says, yay, a female Jem'Hadar doesn't make any sense in accordance with the lore. Definitely sounds like the newest Star Trek Academy is absolute trash. Yes, abso-fucking-lutely. I'm not a fan of the franchise. I just see where we're going right now, and the thing is we've been pushed in this direction ever since Gene Roddenberry was on there. Since Lucille Ball saw that and said, well, we can actually bring out new technology by putting it on the Trekkie Treks to see how well it goes. And if people like it, that must mean we're good to bring out this technology. Well, nope. There's certain people, certain bean counters that said, nope, can't do that. Even though we've had the technology for 70 years, we can't do that. But whatever. Still, the Star Trek Academy does look like total dog shit. Okay, Demon says, Congress is currently going over 2 internet bills, Screen Act and Kids Online Safety Acts. They both make it so the way to use the internet is just like over in the UK, and lots of censorship, even for adults. It's bad. They claim it's to protect children. Hold on. But it does nothing but hurt everyone else's freedoms. There is little to no good in these bills. Yes. If there's one thing these Bolsheviks hate, it is the freedom of speech. The freedom of speech was originally put in, at least over here in the US, so that we could call somebody an asshole and we wouldn't get shot or hanged. It's not hung, guys. It's hanged, which was commonplace. If you said something bad about the king, the soldiers would drag you outside in front of your family and string you up right there. That was fairly common. That's how they kept the peace. Of course, as soon as they took care of the husband, they went and got a piece of the wife. So, yeah, we all know what piece that was. But yeah, this whole thing, they're demanding control. You can't do that. There's always an X factor. People are going to find a way to get around it. I will say this is they're trying to make VPNs illegal. I don't know if you heard about this. This was one of those things they tried to sneak in. So if you have a VPN, I mean, I have one on this. I have one on my phone. I got one on, well, the laptop I did have. I had a VPN in it. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Okay, Guard says, so now I can just use one of the most powerful handguns in the game to completely blitz everything with neutron rounds. Neutron rounds? And then you do the neutron dance, right? Which in short decimates everything. Well, you know what they say, when in doubt, kill everybody. Boy, did the Marines hate it when we did that. Oh, they thought they would play a joke on us and have a bunch of their guys play dead. So we went around with blanks and just started snapping them at everybody. And they're like, what are you doing? We're not sure. And there's the observer controller, and he just starts dying laughing. We didn't know. We're just sitting there clacking at him. And this is with blanks, obviously. And you got to make sure you keep it away from the eyes because there is a little bit that does come out the front. So got to have the eye protection on. If they're not wearing it, you just aim towards the ass, you fire a shot, say close kill, and they're done. And they thought, oh, well, we were going to jump at you. We weren't going to be dead. It's like, well, when in doubt, kill everybody. And they're like, shut up, man. Stop saying it. That's a Marine phrase. No, it's not. Let's see. Guardian says, it seems like the only decent Star Trek anymore is the cartoons. Oh, please tell me you're not talking about Lower Dicks. Oh, man. That is... Ooh. That has got so much DEI BS in that POS, I can't even stand it. I tried watching it one time, and I'm just like, just no. I couldn't get drunk enough to enjoy something like that. You can enjoy it all you want. Me personally, I can't stand it. But that's just me. I see through different eyes. Lena says, the gasoline engine is probably still cheaper than any electric car. At the end of the day, everybody cares for their car to the cheap. Yeah. I mean, I think tomorrow I'm doing complete once-over maintenance on my car. Air pressure, all the fluids and everything else. Make sure it's all topped off. Unfortunately, my compressor has something jammed in it. I got to get it. I literally have to unscrew it and pull it apart and figure out. I think a rock got into it and it just... whatever, it's jammed. I just got to pop it loose. Guardian continues, Lena, it's also about convenient. It's quicker to fill a gas tank than charge a battery. Yes, unless you have your own charger. Which in that case, if you have your own charger, you have to put a camera up. Because have you guys seen the amount of theft off the chargers? It's one of the ones I've seen. This was blatant. The guy walked around the corner. He's got his camera up, so you see it. He's like, ma'am, what are you doing? I'm charging my car. It's like, this is not a public charger. Oh, it's just a little electricity. Ma'am, you are not authorized to this. You are stealing my power. It's just a little bit. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. No, it's not fine. Unplug your vehicle. And she's like swatting at his hand and shit like that. You don't touch my vehicle. He goes up to friggin' get her license plate. She's standing like she knew she was in the wrong. Didn't matter. And I'm just like, wow, this is crazy. It can't be this bad. And there's entire compilation videos of this. People will park their vehicles and they'll charge them for about an hour or two in the middle of the night and then take off, not realizing you're on video, asshole. So anyways, let's see. Demon says, when the UK implemented their version of these bills, 5,000 people had their identity stolen, and they created an entire police farce to arrest people for the speech online. But it's to protect the children's, really. I don't want to get political, guys, but if they wanted to honestly protect the children's, they would have done something else besides going online. Because I'm waiting for at least one point where it's going to kick off bad over here, because we don't mind shooting. If it's to protect our family, we'll start the shooting. You know, using those what do they call officially was it wireless bullet? No, wireless hole punchers. Wireless hole puncher. And yeah. And after that, everyone's going to be like, you know what? It's on. Ring the bell. Ding, ding. Warzone says, Sin, I experienced the Russian space program in War Thunder. I saw its turret fly high into the air. Also, Demon sent you 2 clips. I send it to Sin. Maybe you can show them today with the stream. It's a little late to actually get them on stream. If I get them in my inbox before next week, I'll have them set up. I haven't even, I'm looking at where it says media assets. I got 8 clips right here. Let's see. I got the one where you took a tank destroyer and blasted one guy right into the freaking driver's hatch. I got the 30-second ones where you basically launch a field goal up. One in the dark. I can't see what that is. Got the Overwatch. At least one here of Navy. It's hard for me to see which one's which. But yeah, I got 8 different videos here queued up. I mean, I could show them here before we get too far in. But I'd like to get a little farther on these comments. Okay, sorry guys, this thing jumped again. Give me a second. Okay, here we go. Okay. Lena says, birds of prey are supposed to be smaller starship than how it was imagined. Yeah, they're actually supposed to be extremely cramped. But they're supposed to be basically their own version of a tank destroyer. Very limited in the armor, but highly, highly maneuverable and pack a hell of a wallop. That's what they're meant to do. Demon says, I know you normally avoid politics, but this is not left or right related. It is internet related, and it's important. That's why I brought it up. It will negatively affect all of us in the USA, worldwide. It's going to hit everybody, regardless, everybody. And what's going to be interesting is you'll see things like Reddit being shut down because it actually covers absolutely everything labeled NSFW, not safe for work. So if even somebody labeled this here NSFW, by that law, it would be immediately erased, deleted, and all money would go right back to YouTube. But then again, they like to rip people off. So I could see that happening. Chris is here. When I moved from brown water to Intel side, after hitting an L-shaped ambush, I was amazed how fucked up everything actually is. I would prefer to stay brown water. You live longer. Yeah, well, L-shaped ambush is the way to do it. I mean, I don't know what to say on that. Leon says, I was watching the internet video about supersonic booze carrier. I don't know if I've seen that, so I can't comment. Erica here, the reason for over dramatic acting is because the actor who did Captain Kirk was a Shakespearean actor. Or, hold on, it says, Captain Kirk was a Shakespearean actor, and this was his first non-Shakespeare acting gig. All except Picard did the Shakespeare stuff. Yes, he did do the Shakespeare stuff, but he was a much better actor. I'm not saying that it couldn't be used. I'm simply saying it was overused. And then he started pausing almost every single time he talked. And it was very, very annoying. Just like the captain on Babylon 5, the younger guy they switched to, That guy pauses so freaking much. I'm looking at him like he's on a Thorazine bench. Like, dude, get to the fucking point and talk. There's only like 2 or 3 times he actually like snapped to and got the parts right. But it was these action scenes where it was immediately cut. And he's sitting there like they're doing the assault on Earth. He's like, continue firing. And the guy's like, I don't know how to. He's continue firing. It's like really got into it. And that's when he did a decent job. I was like, okay, now you got something. But then I watched him on other stuff, and every time he acts, he will make these dramatic pauses. And sometimes in the middle of their sentence, I'm just like, dude, get to the fucking point. And that's why in almost all science fiction, at least to me, the captain is the weakest character on the entire show. Let's see. Chris says, by the way, a whistleblower finally admitted President O killed certain group. Hold on. I got to make sure that I say this right. Finally admitted a prior president killed a certain group in Afghan on purpose shortly after the raid in another country. Yeah, they actually do listen to what I say, so I got to be careful when it comes to the politic parts. But yeah, it's the truth will eventually come out. It just might take a few decades. But yeah, the thing is, with all that, all I hear as far as the politics is all of them saying the same thing a certain politician said when she goes, what difference does it make now anyway? Just like a certain one saying, I don't want to talk about this guy. This guy's already been dead. He was a horrible human being. It doesn't matter anymore. That's literally the same. And guess what? They're both blonde. Somebody needs to put those two side by side and go, does this sound familiar to you? And just put it on their channel. Again, this is not a political thing. So anyway, got to get people thinking though. See, Lena says, I think Almas Station had a turret with a gun on it. Okay. Is that like Alligator Alcatraz? Okay, Erica says, I feel bad for some of these borderline to fully sapient AIs. Well, I don't know how you can feel bad. They're not actually there yet. I mean, once you got to cross that line. I mean, it's the same thing when I take a deer once a year for dinner. You know, I fill my tag, you know, and I fill my freezer. I mean, you can feel a little bit bad, sure, but it's not like you're popping a person. Erican continues, they fear deletion like humans fear death. Well, who doesn't? Who or what doesn't? That's not even fear. That's common sense. The common sense to protect yourself. Lena says, I know there are a lot of strange alien stories, actually, like Miami alien incident. Yeah, at the mall. I don't even know what's going on with that. There's been so many people going back and forth on that. And all you got's a little bit of camera shimmering footage. I'm just like, I don't know what's going on with that. All I know is supposedly, we're at the tail end of Satan's little season and things are going to snap back to the way they were supposed to be. And when that happens, things are going to get very, 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 what's the technical term? Oh, yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Guard says, Send, stop hammering. You're going through the floorboard. I'm actually not hammering. That was out there. Let's see. Chris says, before gas, the cars were electric. Yes.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Something actually is right. Let me scroll down here because we have Joseph Blosh with a $5 super chat. And he says, to cover coffee in case of alien invasion. $5 will cover a small, at least up here. I'm not even kidding. If I go down to the Cumberland Farms for 2 large coffees, it's $5. And that's before taxes. Thank you very much, Joseph. Very much appreciated. And I got you down for for all of this week. Let me slide back up here. I'm not going that far. Where was I? Oh, that's right. Chris saying how cars were electric and then big oil stepped in. It's also a misnomer calling oil fossil fuels. That's actually true. There's nothing fossil about them. It's actually a natural mineral reaction if the correct things are present. Yep. And it's very easy to mix these throughout the entire world because they found out that oil doesn't come from fossils. It comes from quartz deposits. And we have quartz deposits everywhere on this fucking planet. The whole thing with fossil fuels, that was propaganda, guys. We got played. You know, it's hold on.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
We got played. I don't know about you, but I don't like being played. I really hate it. I hate it with a passion. But you're right. We had, and you guys can even find the pictures. They didn't quite have video yet. There's pictures of all these delivery trucks lined up after delivery, plugged into the grid. They just had the cables were huge. But they plugged right into the vehicle, right into the floor. They charged everything up. The next day they were loaded up. They went around. They didn't actually put off any sort of smog or anything like that. And they were simple lead acid batteries. And they were set very low in the vehicle, but they were set in a way where if you needed to, you can grab it and slide them out real easy. I mean, it was a good design. Why was it taken away? Because some Bolshevik, sorry, I got a drink, piece of shit decided they want more money. They wanted to control, i.e. guide the energy industry. Let's see. Chris, he continues, says, that's why old oil wells work again after years of nothing. Yep. They're pretty much all connected down there. I'm not a geologist, so I don't know exactly how that works. All I know is it seems like they're all connected. Okay, Line comes down and says, photon torpedoes work like you expect them to work. 101.5 kilograms of antimatter. Quantum torpedo is something else, like quantum magic. Well, actually, quantum energy is actually scary strong. The thing is, you can do a lot of things at the quantum level that are freakish, to include running a certain frequency over the body. If you know what type of, we'll say you got some sort of virus you picked up and you can't shake it, wonk, takes about maybe 3 minutes because they got to go down real slow to catch the entire body with that frequency. Because down at the quantum level, if you look, everything will have like this certain, it's kind of like a weird circle. I don't have a video for it, but you'll see it at the quantum level. And what it's doing is it's moving at a certain frequency. If you match that frequency exactly, you end up making it shake so violently because the vibration, the frequency isn't just going out, it's resonating back in on itself. And then you hit critical mass, it pops. And without that core, the virus is done. It just dies right there. What does your body do? It eats it. It's just what it does. Guard says, well, the one thing about Resident Evil 7 is that you don't fight normal zombies. You fight creatures made out of mold and neutron rounds that have a chemical that just completely eats away the mold. Maybe I should use it on the house. Well, he's saying, if they don't stink, stick them. Yep. I had a similar experience when I was actually in Iraq, and I'd rather not go into that. But yeah, that's what they said over in the Pacific Theater. If they don't stink, stick them. Just across the throat or something. You never know. You just never know. Lena says, there's different types of fictional infection stories, but they're all basically zombies, more or less. The things, I wouldn't count the flood in Halo as zombies. I mean, if you could classify them as a type of zombie, but I wouldn't look at them as that. because they actually work a different way. But it's still an infection that reanimates the dead. Erica is saying that the oil is the theory about oil is the blood of the earth. I wouldn't be surprised, considering how much of it there is. Gar says, oh, and something goofy about the gun. It's called the Alberta 01R, which the company said is a reference to the Albert Weskers, since the Resident Evil 7 is technically a soft reboot of the franchise. I didn't know that. That's interesting. Lean sitting here talking about the electric cars and make them pay for the electric power. Yeah, you got to sue them half the time to make that happen. See, Guard says, also, unironically, the double barrel of the Resident Evil 7 is more powerful than the pump action. Well, yeah, you're firing 2 rounds at the same time. 2 rounds of double up buck, that's 18 pellets of basically hole punching, well, tournament of dog food coming at you. All right, guys, I need a break with the jaw. So, first things first, I just want to remind everybody, don't forget to make sure you are still subscribed. Hit the like button. I very much appreciate it. And I'm going to run at least one of these videos here. Not sure which one this is. Hopefully it's got the sound to it. Not that one, not that one, not that one. Here we go. All right, I'm just going to pull that one off. There was no sound on that one. I was trying to get it to work, but it didn't work so well. So we'll just go with short one. I still have no idea what he shot. I can't tell through the clip. Anyway, let me get back to the comments here. We'll keep going. I still need another drink, though. Oy. Let's see. A War Sniper. No War Thunder. Oh, hey, I told you. You guys got to send it to me. I can't. I have trouble getting the clips. Let's see. Where was I? Yep. Okay, Lena says, I've noticed the UK had been blocked from some American website. It feels like everybody is going to need to use a VPN. They have thought about the VPN. That's the problem. They're going to make use of VPN illegal, which I think is just absolutely nuts, because they're going to force everybody off the computers so they can use them. And when you force people off of something that they've gotten used to, then they're going to be very, very pissed off. They're going to be going through withdrawals. And have you ever seen anybody do withdrawals when you actually like block their cell phone, especially like a college kid? They've done this several times. They start showing like signs of like itching and fumbling with their hands and looking around. It's like they're going through heroin withdrawal. And you don't want to be around that, because then the rage kicks in, and that could be bad. Chris says, to protect the kids community should invest in wood chippers. The Feed the Wood Chippers is going to be the local offender registration list. Yeah. Start there. I could think of a few other places that need to go feet first. And the thing is, again, if you guys watch the Sean Ryan show, you would know he had a guy on there who was a tech freaking genius. And he asked him, how long would it take him to identify every single one of that type of person who needs to be thrown in the wood chipper. Said, wouldn't even take me 5 minutes. It only takes that long because I have to boot up my computer. I was like, okay. That's interesting. Demon says, damn it, I keep forgetting to record my gaming moments and share them. Damn it. That's something you got to do when you first boot up. That's just something you got to remind yourself of. Warstorm says, my clips are still in your mail, Sin. I only sent aircraft carrier clips. This is like the one I just showed. For some reason, I don't know what happened to the volume. I think I would have dropped several animes that I didn't want to watch, but I think I found something. But I think I found something interesting to watch. Well, at least you found one. It's sometimes you have to go through a lot, because if I see another one of these, somebody was a loser and they got hit by a truck, and it's literally the same isekai story every single time. And by the way, if you die, you went to heaven, and that's why you're the MC. Duh. It's not an isekai. That's different. If you're actually summoned as an isekai, or you die and you meet an angel and they tell you there has to be something in the story. You can't just wake up somewhere else. Demon says Steam took down 500 games, and itch.io was it 21,000 games because of Visa and MasterCard. It's not just adult games, horror games were hit too. Really? So it's not just government that's trying to censor what people should see or do. It's bad. Yeah, I heard they might have been going over horror games, but I didn't have any confirmation, and now I do. And it's crazy because like somebody introduced me to a game called Fucker Man, and yeah, is there sex in it? Yeah, but the thing is, it's a puzzle game. At its core, it's a puzzle game. It's a search and find different things so you can unlock other things, to do other things, to unlock something else, so you can actually finish the match. You could literally take all the physical stuff out, the intimate stuff away, and it'd still be fun to play, because a lot of them are hard. No pun intended. And they're already talking about that game's going to be erased off the internet. I'm like, well, so much for actually getting a new puzzle game. But oh no, now the only puzzle games they want are the ones you play online, huh? It's piss right the hell off. Leon says, Supersonic Booster Carrier is a story about a Russian Tu-22 bomber that used a mixture of alcohol and water as coolant. I don't know if you could actually use alcohol. Then again, you use what you got. War Sniper says, well, I say it wrong. The War Thunder clips are in the mail. Okay. And Matthew's here. Hey, bro, big fan of the content. Keep on doing the good work. Well, thank you very much. As a reminder, if you have any comments, if you have any story ideas, if I did something right, if I did something wrong, feel free to put it in the comments section of the video that you like, so that I know what you guys like, what I did wrong, so I can fix it, so I can get you better content. We do a lot of back and forth here, which is actually the reason why I do these live streams once a week. This is actually for you guys to throw stuff in, but we usually start talking about other stuff, so it is what it is. Let's see. But thanks for being here. Appreciate it. And we got Guard says, God, of course, modern singers ruin a great song from the 2000s. I got another one for you. Just today, I had to drive my dad over to the dump. And as we're throwing our bags away, they got a radio playing. I'm like, how come this song sounds familiar, but it doesn't sound familiar? Turns out they redid Thunder Rolls from Garth Brooks. It's something I think was 92, 93. And they redid it, and everything's synthetic. They think of it done like the 70s, the late 70s, early 80s, when they had everything was going through a synthesizer. That's what it sounded like. But the guy that was singing didn't sound like a grown man. He sounded like a teenager. or like early teens. And I'm just like, it is just bad. They got to stop remaking shit. Lena says, when people started making better gasoline cars, electric cars fell out of use. Yeah. Which is one of the reasons why they started blocking everything in the patent office. You can't, and the kicker is they've gotten to the point where if you even get close, anywhere close, like some teenager figured out how to do just a small modification, and he never had to fill his push mower ever again. And he was actually in handcuffs after he showed a video how to do that. Oh no, we have a patent on that. Really? Show everybody the patent. Oh, you don't have to see the patent. We just blah, 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 blah. Okay, dick. Let's see. Chris says, oh, wait, I got it. The only thing that runs towards death as their default is any NPC in any escort mission in any game ever. Yes. Yes. Just like liberals, they're just lemurs or not lemurs. What is it? The ones over there, and they just all follow the herd, even if it means going off the cliff. I'm just like, I've done that too. It's like, oh, you got to rack up your kills. Well, you just line up at the right spot, so they just keep coming down this hallway, and you don't even have to move. You just constantly squeezing the trigger until you run out of ammo. Hold on. Guard says, so there was a song that was called Somebody I Used to Know, and some lady decided, hey, let's take the instrumental part of it and just blatantly steal it all of that and then sing her own song over it. Yeah, they're just, if you alter it just enough, you can get away from the copyright, but it's just, nah. He continues, and thus birthed the most hated song on the internet right now, along with all the anxiety. Yeah. Yeah. Lena says, the United States can't use the oil it drills, so it has to sell 50% of it. Yep. And it's important from different countries because it's the wrong type. Yes, the difference between heavy and light oils. Especially anything that comes from the tar sands over there in Canada or Canada. It's too thin. Our refineries can't do anything with it. And unfortunately, a lot of the oil that comes out of different areas is just too damn thin. But every time these companies say, well, we'll just build a refinery, guess who comes in? Another one of the oil companies says, you can't do that. And they pay off all the politicians to do a song and dance to make everybody think, oh, no, it's not their fault. But you are 100% right on that, Leonid. 150% right. Guard says, oh, hey, if you want a funny fake car commercial, look up, and this is for everybody, Big Bill Hell's car commercials. Yeah, I'm going to write that down so I can write that later. So I can watch that later. Okay. Big Bill's car commercial. Okay. I'll look it up. I haven't seen it. Although one thing on the net I'm getting so unbelievably tired with is all these vlog ones, these AI vlogs. It was fun with the aliens versus humans one, because when they put in the extra human parts, but it's too much and it's no longer funny. They overplayed their hand. Eric is saying how anxiety gave her anxiety. Why not? Lena says, my favorite YouTube channel is Kentucky Ballistics. Ow, dude. Ow. I'm not your favorite. I'm kidding. Yeah, Kentucky Ballistics has some pretty interesting stuff. I see him every once in a while. I'm not a major follower of him. Mainly because I've used most of those firearms before. So me personally, I'm like, so what? I know what's going to happen. But then again, who the hell doesn't want to see 20 or 30 giant gummy bears be struck by a Barrett 50 caliber at maybe 20 feet away? Which, by the way, it won't go through all 20. It'll actually grab a hold and actually stop the bullet. Let's see. I still wonder how I survived that battle where the clip was from. Well, sometimes just sheer luck. Yeah, even Guard says that. Luck. Let's see. Guard is also... Is the infamous Looney Tune ass kill on the chicken in Fallout 4? I have no idea. You guys sent me stuff. Unless you actually have a description on there, I wouldn't know. Leon says, in my video game, I was trying to create a fleet where I mixed cruisers with destroyers. Takes a long time to build. Yeah, let's see that. See, me personally, I have a very eclectic way. In particular, is I'll find the different ships, everywhere from Corvette class all the way to Titan, and I'll see where their positive and negatives are. Like if I find two different classes, like you're saying cruisers and destroyers, if they complement each other's fault or strengths and cover each other's weaknesses perfectly, yeah, I would mix those all the time. But it really depends on what game you're working with and stuff like that. So, yeah. Chris says the best isekai is Uncle from Another World. It's a reverse isekai and it's funny. I've seen bits of that. I have not seen the entire series. I have no time to binge watch. Although I did find interest. The thing is, as soon as that one came out, within 3 or 4 months, because they called the Uncle from Another World Orc Face in the other world, because apparently he was an ugly guy compared to what they were used to, every single isekai started coming out, and I saw a bunch of new manga came out as just the title was, I was isekai'd as an ugly prince or a fat lord or something like that, and they just came out in fucking droves. And I'm sure it's because that anime was such a big freaking hit. Not just here, but over on the other side of the pond. Let's see. Lena says, do you like the new anime where the healer who can transfer back trauma and pain? You can tell she's going to be a villain. Amazing animation. Haven't seen it. Have not seen it. Have not seen any female healer ones. The only one I actually paused and watched a couple episodes of was the one he was kicked out of his party because I read the manga way, way back in the day. I'm sure they've done it more. The thing is, when you're deployed, you'll read anything. You literally will read shit you would never even look at before. So, yeah. I read a lot of that stuff, and it was pretty good. I want to see how well they got and how close they got. And it was pretty close, actually. They ran very quick through a few parts, but it wasn't bad. Matthew saying, yay, read my comment. Let's go. Yay. With the squares. And they're even green like Kermit. Yay. Lena says the second anime is about three assassins who are hired to unalive a hero, but they're all forced to be in the party with him. Why does that sound familiar? I haven't seen it, but it sounds so familiar. So familiar. And I'll bet you the assassins start falling in love with the hero or some such shit. Or start respecting him too much. Lena says, one of the assassins has magic ability to summon modern weapons. Ooh. There's actually one manga where the guy, he isekais, but not really. He doesn't really get the words in his head, like, yeah, I'm going to send you to a new world. He just wakes up in another body, and the old memory, his memories from his previous life, plus the new memories from this life, slam together. And he ends up, one of the first things he does is as soon as he gets some sort of alchemy skills, he builds the AK-47. When you absolutely positively have to kill every motherfucker in the room, except no substitute. And he just starts wrecking wholesale ass. but he's inside a game world. I remember that because he had to get certain scrolls and things like that. Let's see. Lena says the second anime. Okay, yep, I just read that. Lemmings, yes, thank you. I had totally forgot. Lemmings were the ones who are basically liberals. They will just follow everyone over the cliff. Why are you following the crowd? Because it's a crowd. They must be right? No. Let's see. The three assassins can't tell if one of them wants to sleep with him or unalive his ass. Or both at the same time, pull a Genghis Khan. And what I mean by that is they couldn't find a way to end Genghis Khan, even when he went back home to protect the one son that he gave a shit about. That he fell really sick. Well, he decided to go out again. He grabbed a woman, didn't realize that was an assassin. And while he was doing what he was doing, she chopped his damn head off. To be a little more precise, they actually made the line about it in Sin City. Didn't quite chop his head off. She made him into a Pez dispenser. Let's see. War Sniper says, Sin is my favorite YouTuber. For no other YouTuber is staying awake to watch the live stream. For no other YouTuber, you're staying awake to watch the live stream. Okay, I appreciate it. And it's after 8, so yeah, Terrence Pop is on Tim Pool, but we're still going. Like I said, we're going to keep going as long as we go. Demon says, don't forget that car that got 320 miles per gallon and the giant SUV that got 120 miles per gallon that came out in 2010. And the very week they came out, they magically disappeared because of safety reasons. And the people that made them also magically disappeared. Abso-fucking-lutely. I remember that shit. And a lot of people don't realize that that's when you know the technology will actually change the world. I remember when railguns were being developed and I actually saw them. I remember this distinctly. They were on PBS in the early 1980s, and they were showing how it was going to change warfare and how they could strap it onto a vessel. They could even have it on a tank. And they went through the whole thing. They even fired a shot out of this damn thing. And then poof, everything disappeared. And what do we have now that are on destroyers? The Japanese love them. Absolutely love railguns on their ships. We went kind of the missile route, but still, it's now commonplace technology, which would have changed a lot of things back in the day because there was still a lot of direct fire weapons going. Yeah, that's right. If they suddenly magically disappear, they're not magically delicious. They're just gone. Let's see. Leon says, the cooling mixture of alcohol and water evaporates and takes away the heat. Okay. Going by convection. I'll buy that for $1. Absolutely. All day, all night. Demon saying how he loves Uncle from Another World. Yep. You just like the way he changes into an elf. That's one of the bits I seen. And unfortunately, I had to read most of the bottom because it wasn't translated yet. Leon says, I like konosuba. Isn't that a noodle dish, konosuba? Or is that yakisoba? Whatever. Yeah, I saw part of that, and I just like, what am I watching? To me, hey, to each their own. Not really my thing. If I'm sitting there with a bunch of guys and we're just watching anime and having a bunch of beers, it's perfectly fine. But seriously, with that, all the blonde-haired women in anime are all, how do I put this? Randy as all hell. Every single one of them, it seems like they always got to be, and that's the way the Japanese look at American women. Is all of them are tall, all of them have big chest, and all of them just are, as the British say, are goers. And I'm just like, whatever, you racist prick. War Sniper says, my favorite anime stays Knights and Magic. I'm trying to remember. Is that the one where the guy gets reborn, but the body is kind of short, but he wants to be a mech pilot? I don't remember. I think this one. Let's see. Sin, how do you know that the assassins do that? Oh, shit. It's like you've seen the story type before. It's probably the easiest way to write that type of story, because if they really were in his party and they wanted to off him, they first or second mission, they poison his food, or they leave him to die to a more dangerous monster, usually by causing a cave in so he couldn't run away, and just let him there to die. There are so many ways to end that story so fast. The only reason that the assassins would be around longer than 1 or 2 missions would specifically be because they find him attractive, they find him interesting, they respect him, and more often than not, if it's a female assassin against a male target, or a male assassin to a female target, guess what? They're gonna get horny. They're out there fighting with each other, flexing their muscles, tearing their clothes in front of each other. Especially for anime, that's just the way it goes. Let's see. Chris says, my favorite anime is Gate, and it's making a new season. Is that the one where the JSDF goes into another world through a gate? Because I'm sorry. As somebody who's actually worked with the Japanese, even they say that one was just literally cradling the JSDS nutsack. I mean, it's fun to watch. And, they kind of ripped off a lot of American stuff of like, why do you guys sit on your helmets so we don't get our balls blown off? Then the guy takes off his helmet and he sits on it. Yeah, you don't have to worry about that medieval shit. Anyways, but to each their own. I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was. It was interesting to see some of it. I mean, the female knights I thought were a little too... and of course, at the end of Gate, what happens with the blonde-hair, blue-eyed knight? She gets knocked up. She's the only one who gets knocked up because she decides to go and get plowed out. Ay, chihuahua. Sorry, I don't mean to... That's not really spoiling anything. Let's see. Demon's excited for Gate 2. Eric says, I personally love Sword Art Online. I never really saw it, so I never really got into it. All I know is every time I see a video that says people getting the justice they deserve, SAO comes up. Apparently, the guy was a total creep online, and he would turn the pain sensors up on everybody else, even though he's not supposed to. And then he would just do all sorts of bad things to him. Yeah, if I found him in the real world, I'd probably start severing parts off of him, starting with the fingers. Then I'd do to the pain, cut his eyes out, cut his tongue out, but leave the ears so everybody knows how every time he hears how horrible he looks, it rings in his perfect ears. And yes, I am. I am one of those guys who would take... I'm like Marv from Sin City. Scraping a guy's face on the ground. I don't know how you're doing, but I'm having a ball. It is what it is. Let's see. Leon says, Konosuba is a parody anime, but it mostly looks realistic to me. I need to watch an anime with the useless goddess. Okay, there are apparently a lot of those. So not really narrowing it down. Okay, so I was right about Knights and Magic. Okay, good to know, War Sniper. Guard says, something weird I've noticed is that I've done this between several people's phones, is that if you watch a live stream on YouTube, your phone doesn't get hot. But, hold on. What should I do? Okay. But if you do one on Twitter or on Rumble or a few other streaming-based apps, your phone all of a sudden gets hot. Isn't that just odd? Isn't it? I'm not surprised, really. I'm pretty sure either YouTube has worked out enough kinks where your phone isn't struggling to actually keep the stream going, or they just made it more difficult for the other ones, which means your phone's going to struggle more, which means it's going to get hot. Demon saying, I forgot about that. The blonde knight thing. It's always the blonde knight. And this is one of the reasons that it kind of shied me away from anime a bit, and it shied me away from manga, is the bad guy was almost always a tall, blonde-haired, and blue-eyed guy. And it got so crazy that I forget exactly which Comic-Con it was, whether it was over in California or New York, which, by the way, I went to the one in New York, and it was one of the best experiences I ever had. That being said, somebody actually called them out on this, actually a bunch of these manga writers. And these were guys from Japan. And the guy actually originally, he tried to change what the dude asked. And he tried to change the answers on both sides. And somebody who was there who knew Japanese screamed at him in Japanese and said, that's not what he said. Say it right. And when they were called out on it, they all just kind of was like, oh, shit, we got caught. So it's kind of hard not to get caught. It's so brazen about it. Let's see. Lena says, Gate was interesting, but you can tell it's a Japanese army fantasy. Literally, yeah. The one part about the whole thing, and I'm not going to really ruin anything, this is only on one episode, is they made it seem like the only way other powers in the world, the US, Russia, China, could get access to the gate itself or to the personnel that came from the gate was through military operations. That's bullshit. They would have been financial. They would have been all the folks would have been bribed so that the Russians or the Americans or whoever would have at least had a meet and greet. Okay. It stands to political reasoning that they would, get some sort of leverage for, again, even a simple meet and greet. Or militarily speaking, the island would be surrounded on all sides by multiple fleets of different countries. Like, hey, we're doing this meet and greet, or we're going to end up tearing apart your island. Which one is it? And again, they just made the JSDF look like the baddest of the baddest of the baddest of the baddest. I've worked with the baddest of the baddest of the baddest, and they are scary good. They weren't the JSDF though. But the thing is, the only ones I worked with the Japanese, I was in Hawaii, and they were not any special. These were their version of scouts, which probably is the reason why they didn't impress. Although it was absolutely hysterical when we're like, hey, can we check out your machine guns? They're like, oh, sure. They pull the ammo out, hand it over. I'm literally lifting this thing, flipping it around like I'm flipping this pen, like, wow, there's nothing to this thing. It's like, what are you talking about? I pull out the 240 heavy machine gun. I hold it straight out like this. The guy grabs in his hands. I let go. He just about tumbles towards me. Their machine guns might weigh about 15, 16 pounds. If they're that much. That's loaded. The 240 is 27.6 pounds unloaded. And this thing had a 50-round starter belt hanging out of it. So, yeah, he wasn't ready for that. But anyways, that's a sorry. I'm out in the weeds. Hold on. Where's that? I'm in the weeds here. So hopefully I'm not out in the weeds too much. All right. Yeah, I'm not wrong, but it's fun. Hey, as long as it's fun, right? Okay, Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. See. Chris saying, I want a hot blonde girl night. Who doesn't? Well, maybe Erica doesn't. I don't know. Where's Ava? We should ask her if she wants a hot blonde girl night. She seems to, judging by the last conversation we have, and unfortunately, she hasn't been around in a while. I think she was here, a week or 2 weeks ago, only for like 5 minutes. Which is a shame. She used to come in with some pretty funny shit. All right. See. Demon says, because before Elon bought Twitter, but it didn't get hot, but after he did, it just started. Okay, now that's making more sense. This is a cyber attack. A straight up cyber attack. That's what that is. And there's no going around that. Lena says, it's scary how many episodes the slime anime got. Yeah, so you basically can shorten the most of it. Yeah, it's still, the manga is still being made. That's why I don't read it. Well, aside from the fact that I don't really have time to do it, it's just, if it's just going to keep going and going and going, just like Goku on Dragon's Balls, then it's not an anime anymore. It's not a manga anymore. It's a cartoon. It's a comic book, and it just keeps going and going. There is no end to it. Now, granted, on the slime anime, the guy is immortal, so I'll give it that. But you need to do a couple of time jumps, because now, not only does he have all these powerful people that basically make him stronger than all the other countries combined, but he's now a literal god. I'm like, again, they try to make their characters into freaking Jesus. And all I can say is, Jesus, man, knock it off. Once you do that, there's no, at least to me, there's no way of grabbing onto the character anymore. You got to have something to relate to. Like, now, I haven't put it on here, but I made one for the DC Comics, which was obviously non-canonical. I made a whole new character. The guy's OP as fuck, especially when he's pissed off. But every time you talk about his wife or his kids who are not around anymore, the very first thing he does is he has a drink. And he drinks so much that even Tyrion from Game of Thrones would tell him to slow the fuck down. But that's one of the things that made the character more human. And once the character is far beyond what can be considered human, me personally, I can't follow it. But hey, you guys like what you like. Don't let me ever stop you from liking what you like. What you like, that's your preference. That's not my things. I'm just putting my opinion. Okay, let's see. Demon says, the Slimer has a lot of story, but also has a lot of filler. I'll take your word for it. I haven't seen it in a while. Oh, that's a good one, Chris. America would never drop the sun on anyone a third time. Well, the thing is, believe it or not, they've run the numbers probably more times than I have blood cells. Every single time, come to find out, the losses at Hiroshima and Nagasaki are absolutely nothing compared to what would happen if the Russians came in from the north and our guys came in from the south. There wouldn't be a Japan anymore. There wouldn't be a Japanese people. Do you know what the Russians do to people they capture? So, yeah, as horrific as it is, it probably saved more lives than it lost. Let's see. Morris Number says, I will see the clips next time the stream. Got to go to bed. It's 2:30 in the morning time for me. Yeesh. Good night, War Sniper. Let's see. Lena says, every new episode of Cleavatez feels like 12 minutes. I don't know what that is. Oh, yeah. Are you sure about that? Yeah. I don't have that video on standby. Let's see. Guardian says, I only ever got to shoot the 240 Bravo in basic. After that, I only saw and shot the M16, the M249 SAW, and the M2 Browning 50 caliber. Well, you're not missing too much. I mean, you got to shoot the 50, and the only thing with the 240 is it kind of is that kind of that cruiser, like the 249's the destroyer, and the M250 caliber, that's the battleship. So it's kind of the mid range on that. I carried the 240 in AG gear for years, and my back is still fucked up because of it. They say it's not service related. I say bullshit. Actually, in about 2 days, I'm going to somebody who's going to be there specifically to crack my back. Last time I was there, she actually thought she hurt me. I'm like, no, just keep walking. She drove her heel down into my spine, right around a little bit higher than mid in the shoulder blades, and crunch. And it hurt for a second, and then I was like, okay, I'm good. I'm gonna go sleep now. But yeah, actually, when I was firing the 240 in my basic training, when I was down in Fort Benning, I still remember the drill sergeant right next to me as he's having me shoot the 800-meter target, and I'm bullseyeing everything. Where the hell did you learn to shoot like that, trainee? I'm literally down on. My father taught me drill sergeant. He's like, good, shoot that next target, and he gave me I forget exactly what it was. All I know is I traversed left. 3 or 4 shots down it. He's like, Jesus fucking great, trainee. What the hell? How the hell do you do that? Shoot every single target. It's like, okay. And I still had bullets left. And maybe that's why they put me on the 240 later. Whatever. I don't see everybody saying goodnight on that. Says, Demon says, I want a 249 so bad, but I don't have 30K to buy one. You need an FFL to buy one too. And I don't know exactly how much, but apparently the federal firearm license is not exactly cheap. Not to mention, you got to remember the thing is anywhere from 650 to 900 rounds a minute. No, wait, sorry, 850 to 950 rounds a minute. That's a lot of money to blast away. And by the way, if you go cyclic on a 200 round drum, your barrel's probably fucked. It's definitely going to be glowing. I did that once or twice, and no kidding, guys will come up, the safeties will come up, how you doing? And they'll have a cigarette in their hand. They'll light their cigarette on your barrel. Good shooting, and just walk away. It's like it's nothing. But yeah, more often than not, we did that with the 240 because the barrel's thicker, so it can handle the heat more. I'm sure you guys have seen the videos of them melting suppressors right off the end of a 240 machine gun, 249, because it just gets so hot and the pressure's there. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I was going to take a weapon back, yeah, it would be the 240 or 249 saw, because that's what I carried in Iraq. My first tour, and I carried 1,000 rounds on me and 2 extra drums in my assault pack. I refused to die for lack of shooting back. Plus, I carried a couple grenades on my right hip. I had extra ammo on my left hip. I was just loaded down. Thankfully, didn't need to drain it all. Lenin says, I think a hotel anime that spent 1,000 years during tide jumps, but only because the hotel crew was androids. You got me on that one, Leonid. You totally got me. I'm lost on that one. Demon says, I still want to trade Japan and California. Can we please? That'd be nice. And I guarantee we'd be able to solve a lot of the birth problems they have over in Japan. But the thing is, everybody's having a fertility crisis everywhere around the world. But nobody wants to actually admit what the true reasons are, and multiple reasons, which we're not going to get into, because I will be getting into those reasons on the Crazy Uncle channel, where if I get some fucking time, I'm learning how to do shorts on the computer, because I'm not going to go get the glow ring and everything to set my cell phone up to take these videos and then try to do this other shit. I just want to make the video and put everything out and be done with it. But yeah. Anyways, even Joseph said, I'd trade Japan for Cali. Yeah. The thing is, if we did that straight up, one thing we would definitely have to do is set up the JSDF on the southern border. And guess what? They're not going to be too thrilled about any caves or anything like that, or people trying to go around the fence or anything like that. They'll be like Poland. They'll just shoot you. Let's see. Guard says, I've been playing Resident Evil 7 on my new playthrough since like maybe 20 minutes before the stream started, and I'm already halfway through the game. Oh, there you go. Infinite ammo neutron rounds just rip everything apart, even the bosses. Well, that would make you the boss, wouldn't it? Leon says, Cleavitas is a dark fantasy anime. The full name is Cleavitas, King of Magical Beasts, the Baby, and the Corpse Hero. Okay. You got me. I haven't seen it, so I can't say nothing. Eric saying, I sure could use a back cracking. Yeah. I actually got in a lot of trouble because my niece, one of them, she's really, really tall for her age. She's like 5'9", 5'10". She's barely a teenager. Actually, no, I think she's only 12. At one point, I actually like, hold still, you're slouching. And I pushed just a little bit and it's like 2 or 3 pops real quick. And she was scared at first. I was like, I didn't hurt you, did I? She's like, no, that actually feels good. And of course, everyone else started screaming at me, don't you ever do that again. You don't know what you're doing. Of course, I know what I'm doing. Done it enough times. Done it to myself a few times. Everybody needs their back cracked every once in a while. And next time I see the VA, I'm going to tell them, look, send me to the chiropractor at least once a year for like 2 or 3 weeks in a row. And it worked wonders. It was great. I'm still feeling the benefits, but they are wearing off. Okay, up here it says, Guard says, apparently the only reason why the slime anime is still going pretty much is they're going for the entirety, if not done until the demon lords are either allies or dead. Okay, good to know. Oh, nice to know, Chris. Somebody who likes to put Prozac in his pancakes is telling everybody it's $500 for the destructive weapons permit. I wonder if that's part of the FFL or whatever. Just make sure you check not only the federal rules, guys, but the state law as well. Okay. In one case, I made one guy freak the hell out for a second before he started laughing. We had this young kid. He was ETSing out of the Army, and I still remember, really cool guy. His name was Barrett. He was actually E4. I was in E5, and I was like, "Where are you going after you're done?" He was just talking. He's like, "Oh, I'm going back to California." I grabbed him by the shirt, threw him up against the wall. I was like, you can't do that, you stupid fuck. What are you doing? And he's legitimately scared. He thinks I'm gonna like beat the shit. Everyone's like grabbing my arm. I was like, Sarge, calm down. I'm like, you can't go there. Don't you have any idea? Don't you know state law? He's like, what are you talking about, Sarge? You gotta know you can't have a Barrett in California. And he starts laughing his ass off because that is a state law. You cannot have a Barrett 50 caliber rifle in the state of California. It is against state law. You cannot possess it. You can't buy it. You can't even transport it across the state. Just doesn't happen. They are so adamant about that. But the thing is, as soon as I said the line, you can't take a Barrett to California, I let him go. And he just started cracking up. And everyone's like, what's he talking about? I walked away and he's explaining it. They're like, oh, that's just funny. It's just messed up, but it's funny. So I'm just saying, make sure you do check everything. Okay. Demas, oh yeah, I'm officially a certification teacher for the forklifts, tiers 1 through 7. And GLGs and scissor lifts. Okay. I could do a scissor joke right now, but I'm not going to. Not at all. Nah. Good. It's always got to get those more certifications there, Demon. That's always good because that gets you more money. Okay, Joseph says proper storage of a NFA weapon will cost you around 5 to 6K easy. Ouch. Guard here with he's befriended. I think he's still talking slime here. He says he's befriended 2, but killed 3 of them, and all the others, unsurprisingly, are panicking. I mean, I would, and you're not wrong. It does need a couple time jumps, like Jesus Christ at this rate. We're literally going day by day and hour by hour per chapter. And the thing is, time jumps have to be done correctly based on like the story itself. You guys seen, I just did one on Something Familiar where the character, something happened, and the next time you see him, it's like 10 years later. It has to mix in the story. Let's see. Chris says, if you have a permit, I know you're going to get one for $12K for the semi-auto and $22 for the full. It's amazing. It just costs you more money and still get it done. The state doesn't care as long as you pay them, right? It's like that line in, what the hell was that movie? Roadhouse, the original Roadhouse. It's like, can you afford that much rent? And Patrick Swayze, if it keeps you in the good graces of the church, and the farmer goes, ain't it amazing how money will do that very thing? Well, it's the same thing with government. And there's even demons saying, if I had the money, I'd do it. Yeah, I'd do it too. The thing is, this state I'm in hates full autos. Absolutely hate it. The moment I start firing, they'd call the cops on me. This town in particular actually stopped the construction of a police training area because, oh no, you're going to hear all the shooting. I'm like, do you have any idea how much money these guys would spend on the local businesses on the way through, you dumb fuck? But they didn't care. Let's see. Lena says, I personally prefer a brick spaceship with curves. I'm not sure I know where you're going with that one, Leonid, but okay. Guards here. Brief history lesson. Just remember that with all the people that tried to put up the argument that what the U.S. did was unjustified, I'm assuming with the nukes, keep in mind that the emperor pretty much put into effect that it was to hold your ground order. Yep. They were digging foxholes everywhere. They were handing out even pointed sticks to the young. I mean, it was bad. And they're severely outdated weapons behind people that shouldn't be using them. We're talking preteen, not even growing your short and curlies yet. And it was just crazy. It continues with, and it wasn't just an order towards the soldiers. No, this was towards every man, woman, and child in the country. Like some of them were being taught to fight back with kitchen knives. Yep. And if anybody surrendered, you were supposed to kill them before they said anything. I mean, it's just, wow. Just wow. Just holy shit, wow. At least the Germans had the idea to, you know what? I don't want to watch my men by that point, the kids in my unit get slaughtered. So we're done. Okay. We're done. We're going to surrender to the West so that we don't end up in Russian hands because Lord knows what they're going to do. And, they just had to, the higher ups just had to wait until their leader ran off to Argentina and then they surrendered. They probably saved what was left of their country at that point. At least until the Russians came in. Let's see. Joseph saying to Leonid, I read that as a red brick house style spaceship at first. Cheers. Oh, Eric said, gotta go. Time for sustenance. Good evening, sin and sinners. Oh, that's a good one. You sinners. I like that. I'm gonna try and use that next time. You sinners. I'll see you later, Eric. See you, everybody. And now let's see. Demon says, I'm going to re-upload the drone fleet I sent to Discord because make sure whatever I can't really pull off of Discord, guys. Send it straight to my email. It should be in the Meat Gazer box down there. I see you looking. And send it via email. There should be a Gmail account. It shouldn't be hard to send. Anything under 2 minutes should be well within the gig limit to send. Let's see. And a lot of people have joined since I did last, and it's buried from all the chat so people can see when I bring up mess. Okay. Guard saying, my upload, I sent you a couple Titanfall 2 clips would be fine to show you that gun that I get calling a radical spurs. Hold on. I think maybe, I don't remember if I have. I think it might be this one.
Harvester shields are dropping.
target.
Harvester shield back up to 100%.
Titan eliminated.
Mission complete, pilots. Great work.
Oh no, that was Titanfall. I'm sorry, guys. I clicked on the wrong one. Whatever. Oh shit. Hold on. Here we go. Okay. Where was I? Okay. MTF Guard says, kind of funny. It's literally just a semi-auto rifle. And it's even funnier because there's ones that talk when they use some of the most brain-dead weapons in the game and then say they have some skill. It's not skill when you sit there in a corner, invisible, with a light machine gun, should be submachine gun, that has a sight that paints everybody in hostile red. That's not skill. Not really, no. The only time I let that one have a pass was Halo ODST because they were actually testing it out. And it seemed like as soon as that came out, everybody wanted to do it. Leon says, well, if I had to explain it, there is an industrial brick design, polished brick design. Okay. Guard saying, nailing 3 headshots with what's the equivalent of a reflex sight with semi-auto rifle from halfway across the map. Now, that's skill. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say so. All right, guys. Looks like we hit towards the bottom. So once again, don't forget to make sure you are still subscribed. YouTube is still playing the games, guys. So just double check. You should be good. Don't forget to hit the likes on the way out. We're going to be heading off here in a minute. And I'm going to throw this one up here because we're ending up. Finally, the work is done. It's time to go home. Make sure you guys get something good, solid, and healthy in your systems. Also, final safety brief. If you drink, you don't drive. If you drive, you don't drink. If your buddy wants to drink and drive, feel free to beat their motherfucking ass because it's a whole lot easier to explain to their spouse that you just broke their nose instead of explaining that they're in the morgue. If your little soldier wants to go in the bush, make sure he wears his poncho. If you're doing it right, it's wet in that bush. And you know what? You got to really be careful nowadays. You might want to double wrap or have something that extends farther so you don't get the burning ring of fire. If you watch Redonkulous Pop, you know what I'm talking about on that. Or I should say grunt speed. Also, make sure you guys are careful. I'm going to... before I go, I'm going to try something. And I'm going to see if I can put the image. I had it. Come on, you pain in the ass. Hopefully you guys don't see all the different stuff on my screen as I'm doing this. I'm trying to put up one picture that I had downloaded before. And unfortunately, this thing is taking forever. Come on, spin up a little faster. You pain in my fucking nutsack. Here we go. And come on. Here we go. All right. You got these fuckers coming out across the road. That was literally right outside my window today. Yeah, she's a little thin. She's a yearling. If I saw her in my sights, I'd be hesitant to actually squeeze the trigger. There's really nothing to her right now. Hopefully she gets a little chunkier before the season gets here. Anyway, if you see one of these, just remember there's probably another one behind it. Slow the hell down. I don't need you guys getting hurt. Why? Because I want to see you all here next week on Syntax Live. This has been your host. Thank you all for being here this week. And I am punching out.